All right, guys. Yesterday we had a discussion about common table expression, and I had given you guys one question to do only one, as we have promised to each other that we will do only one question during the weekdays. So, were you guys able to do this? Find the total number of regions with customers having average salary more than 53,000 or 530,000.
Yes, Pratik.
Yes, Pratik.
Pratik, I didn't get any output of this.
I am not getting output.
Okay. Who did not get? Was it Tarun?
Yes, Pratik.
Can you copy paste your query here for me to check?
Basically, I'm getting the same error which I got in the assessment, that data source CC profile is not available.
Can you share your screen? I just want to see it.
Yeah, I just send you. Just give me a minute.
You can share your screen as well, Tarun.
Pratik, I have to restart my system. Just give me a minute.
Achha, ठीक है, no worry. Okay, in any case, find the total number of regions with customers having average salary more than 530,000. So if I look at the ideal output here, what we are looking for is we're looking for something like this, where we will find the total number of regions. I mean, in fact, ultimately we just want one column, which is like count
of region.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be whatever number. That's it. Just one cell we want as the output, but it's going to be done in two steps. Step number one will be to find the regions and average salary, and let's say whatever region, and the average salary is whatever, and the average salary should be more than 530K, right? So that's going to be the step number one. Let's say this, let's call this table as region salary table, right? So from this region salary table, as a second step, what we will have to do is we'll have to then select count star.
Oh, yes.
You understand what I'm trying to say, guys? Right? But in this case, region sal is not really a table. It's actually another query which we would have written to get step number one. So can you guys share the step number one query with me? Region wise average salary.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, go ahead and share it, Ashish.
Okay, just come on. Sir, give me a minute only.
Sure.
I have to log in. I have logged in from other system. Just give me a minute. Just joining the Zoom.
Okay, so it'll be like this. From customers, the inner join. In fact, we don't even have to join here. Region. Oh no, we'll have to join.
We have to, because salary is in customer.
Yeah, salary is in customer.
Inner join customer C on C dot cust ID is equal to CR dot cust ID. Group by
I have copy paste on the chat.
Region comma AVG of salary, right? As average salary. And so this gives me,
I have sent you.
okay, but then here we also have to apply what?
Having.
A having clause, having greater than 530,000, right? So this is step number 1, isn't it? Now, from this step number 1, using the output of this step number 1, which is this, right? Let's say from open parenthesis, and I'm writing this entire query inside this from statement. And here I'll give this query an alias name as, let's call it as region sal table.
Okay.
I get a point. And then from there, we will do select count star. There are 2 such regions. It makes sense.
Pratik, can you scroll a little bit up? What you?
I will.
But I am getting some different.
Ashish. Not
Sir, when I have checked select region and count average, I have sent you a query to you on chat. Yes, region.
Pratik, I also have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask that, when we are writing,
Wait, give me 1 second. Huh? Give me 1 second.
yeah.
Why are you grouping it by salary, Ashish? You grouped it by region and salary both. Why?
Okay. That's why I'm getting the.
Yeah, that would mean that, region wise for every salary, they will try and show you number of, so of course, that's not going to be the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, Sanjeev.
Yeah, my question is, Pratik, I had done this only. The result is, there are 2 rows, right? But
The result
is 2.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm getting 2 now.
I mean,
Yes.
the result, what I'm getting is 2 rows.
2 rows, no, Sanjeev.
Yeah, 2.
2
I mean
rows.
2. Yeah. So sorry. 2 is 2 regions, right?
Hanji. Yes.
Yeah. So my question is this a nested query, a kind of a
It
nested
is.
query?
It is also one of the types of a nested query. We have also used nested query when we used in and not in also. And this
Yes.
is also nested.
Yes. Yeah. So in this nested query, the inner query, select region, wala jo hai na, like inner, when we are not counting the number. So this won't give us, yes. This won't give us the region, 2 regions.
Yes, it's showing many
Because we're
regions.
counting.
No, this will give
Yeah,
you
it's showing all the regions.
It'll
I
show
had
you
worked on it. So,
it shows the regions like
so
this.
my question is why is it showing 2?
Because there are 2 regions which meet this criteria where the average salary is more than 530,000.
Right. So why we need this nested query if our work can be done by that single query?
Well, here, okay, I understand. So your question is that we can see that it is 2, right, Sanjit? So why do we
Yes.
have to write it that it is 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there can be several reasons for it.
Yeah.
You know, this maybe, you know, is like in Excel, you are writing the answer only in that particular cell. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, you know, you
Right.
just want to know the count. You don't want to see the actual number of regions. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Here, there are only two. What if there were
Yeah.
20,000 regions?
Mm-hmm. So we need to do manually also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
You
Thank
have to
you.
hear me loud and clear, right, everybody?
Yes, Pratik.
Maybe it was just Sanjeev's voice was cracking a little bit. Yeah. Does anybody need more clarification on this one? I don't mind explaining this because this is, you know, an interesting thing and very commonly used thing as well.
Yes, Pratik, it's a bit too much for me.
Hey, Faisal,
Yeah.
did you understand the two-step process that we are following here?
Yes, we are basically bringing the region into the customers table. Then we are doing an average on a region level, and then giving an output which is greater than 53,000.
See, what I'm trying to tell you here, Faisal, is that any query, any SQL query that we have written so far, always gives us a tabular output, isn't it?
Yes.
That means if this is a query's output, that means we can use this query output. We can use this query output as a input table in another query. It's like in Excel, you create pivots, right?
Yes.
But from pivot, if you want to create another pivot,
Yes. So basically, we have created a pivot and took out that specific column that we have to do analysis, right?
yeah.
I got confused when you copy pasted the whole query and bracketed with an outer query. So
Yeah, because there is a from here, है ना? From के बाद we normally write a table, isn't it?
Yes, we normally write a table. Yes.
But instead of table, we are writing a query because this query will also give me a table,
Okay.
right? So what you need to imagine is that from this table, what is this? What are the columns in this table? A table has columns, right? So what are the columns in this table?
Region and average salary.
Right? So imagine this is the table for this query.
Okay. And then we are applying a different query to give a count.
Yeah. Basically, count star will give you for any query when we say count star, it gives me the number of rows in that table.
Oh, okay.
I get what?
Count star the total region salary. Okay.
See.
Okay, got it. So we
Pratik,
have
this is a nested query you have put on that. Is that
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Say for example, look at this. Select count star from customer. The customer is a table here, isn't it?
Yes.
So if I write this query here, and if I run this query, then this is going to give me. This is going to give me the total number of rows in that table.
Oh, okay. And you are counting the okay, got it.
So now instead of this table, we have written another query. Look at this. It's like this. Although here it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because yeah, I got your point.
By the way, one important thing to remember about this common table expression is whichever query that you write after from, suppose you've written this query, when you close the bracket, you have to give it an alias name. It is mandatory. See, it says every derived table must have its own alias. Derived table is this query that we are writing inside another from statement. Did you understand this? So what alias meaning? We should have some name given to it.
So
Okay.
as far as I remember, we you are giving a outside. Okay, got it. So we are basically giving a name, alias name to the output of this query, not the inner query. Okay.
Yeah, output of this query.
Okay, got it.
Look at this. What do you think this will give us?
Count of emails in a in customers query.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
Now, now look at this, huh? Suppose the question is find the ratio, or let's say the question is okay, yeah. Question is find the ratio between number of males and females. I get the point. So how would we do this? Any idea, anybody?
We will find number of males and females both. Gender.
This gives me what?
Males.
Right?
Right.
And similarly, this gives me number of females. Now,
Right.
look at this, huh? How weird the queries can look like. And how versatile, SQL is. Suppose we write like this. Divided by, look at this, huh? Divided by what do you think I will do?
Female query will be pasted over, and alias will be given as total females, and name that column as
Is total gender
Total male. And
a total
first one will be total male.
As this whole as ratio.
Is query under query.
It's not actually, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is query under query, but I just wanted to show you that how versatile SQL can be, and why it's like calculator where you can, almost whatever your calculation wish is, you can easily do it. And the best part is that data can reside anywhere in the world. You can source it. So if you look at this query, this is one query, which gives me the number of males, divided by the second query, which gives me the number of females, and select. Now, if you look at this select, this is without any from. Select is like print. Select
the last.
genpact. Do you see this?
Oh, okay.
And does it make sense? It's like print, right? So here we are just printing the division between this and the division between the number of females. Does it make sense?
Okay.
Yes, Prateek.
Okay, guys. What we want to talk about today. Acha, by the way. Okay, got it, Tarun. We've spoken about common table expression, right? Which doesn't save anything anywhere in the database. Common table expressions do not save anything anywhere in the database, isn't it? These are all temporary namings and all of that. It's like everything is getting derived at the time when we are running the queries. But what if you want to save, let's say this step number 1, this step number 1 query that gave us the region and the average salary, right? If you want to save this query as a virtual table, let's call it as a virtual table, because it's really not a table that's getting created, right? But if you want to save this query as as a virtual table in the database, so that you can reuse that query again in the other queries, just like how you reuse a table. For example, if I were to say, so virtual tables in SQL is called as view. Let's say create view, and the name of the view is let's call it as region average salary, right? As, look at this, how interesting it's going to become. Okay, I'm copying this query and I'm writing it down here. Create view region AVG sal as this. What do you think this will do, guys?
It will create this table whenever we write select region average cell. It will show that result to us.
Okay.
I mean, it will.
Tarun, what do you think this will do, Tarun?
As per my thought, it will give a regional average salary within the 53K.
I mean,
5300K.
53K, that's fine. That we will get. But what is the meaning of this statement? Create view region average salary as this.
It will create a table, separate
Okay.
table.
So
Separate
it will
table, yeah.
create a separate virtual table. Why am I calling it as a virtual table? Because really, we are not creating a table per se. We are creating a virtual view on it. Meaning, suppose if I run this statement, so suppose if I create it, I refresh it, and if you notice, right next to tables, we have views here under this database. You have views. So if I click here, do you see that there is a view that is created? And if I click on this view, it shows me the columns of that view, which kind of looks exactly like the tables. Do you see this, guys?
Okay. So the only difference is that it's not a part of a table, but it's a virtual thing, which resides in some virtual space, right?
So what happens is, it behaves, the views behave and act exactly like any other table which takes memory space in the database. It behaves exactly like tables. However, the main difference is that views do not take any memory space in the database. Why? Because when you create a view, it doesn't save that table's output, that query's output anywhere. It saves that query in the database. And when you call that view, that means when you refer to that view in any select query, then what it is doing is that it is actually running the query that is saved inside the view. Did you understand this, guys?
And what's the utility of it? Why do we need a rough work over there, not creating a different table altogether?
Because you probably don't want to invest into the space.
So Pratik, if we change anything in primary table, then it will, I think, not work.
No, it will work. Why will it not work? Amit? Because when we use a view in the select statement, it runs the query that was created, that was used to create that view, which is this query.
Okay, like if we have changed the name of the some columns and which we have used in this query, so will it work?
नहीं, name of the column to change करने तो गड़बड़ है, of course, Amit. But if you have changed the data, it will work.
Yes, that's what I'm.
Suppose here, if it is not region now anymore in the customer region table and customers table, and you made it as regions with an S, then of course this will not work. But if the data, I mean, mostly columns names are not very frequent changes that we do. Data is what we keep changing, adding, modifying, updating. I get what, Amit?
Right.
So, did you understand the difference between a table so view will save the query in the database. Now both are saved in the database. Both are saved in the database. This is also saved in the database. Is it making sense, guys?
Only difference is that in views it's coding, sort of a macro to run on a table.
Nice. Macro also.
And the other one is a table.
Yeah. This is a proper table, which takes memory, space, constraints, all of that, all the jazz that comes with any table. This is a virtual table, an abstract table. Correct? Now, there are many advantages of views, right? What do you think are the advantages?
We can access from anywhere.
It is accessible because it is saved in the database, unlike the queries that we write, because the queries that we write are saved locally in our machines. Whenever we have saved the queries, we have gone to, save as, and it gets saved locally in our machine, local machines, in the local client machines. But the views actually become part of the database. That means I have created the views here. You can actually access it from your side as well. It also reduces complexity by hiding the actual code. You see, let's say you guys have gone through a very professional training or going through a professional training. You're putting in effort, time, and everything in learning a lot of things about SQL, right? We have also seen writing multiple lines of queries. We have seen, joins, union, and so many things. So you can write a decently complex query, but not everybody who uses SQL would have gone through this professional training, but they would require access to the data, and hence they may need a little bit of understanding of SQL. So what you can do is you can write a complex query, maybe a complex query which uses having and grouping and ordering and all of that into one view, like how we did here. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, guys? And save that query as a view in the table. Is it making sense, everybody?
Yes, Pratik.
Yes, Pratik.
Right? Now, the question then is, common table expression also did kind of the same thing, isn't it?
It's not creating a table. It's just giving an output. Oh, sorry, it's not saving the codes. It's giving an output.
The main difference between a common table expression and a view is, in view, you actually save the code as a view in the database. But a common table expression doesn't even save the code. It actually will run this code that you've written again. I mean, view will also run the code which is written here, but at least this code, these codes are saved in view. The codes are saved in the database.
Can we see the codes saved in database?
Yes, you can. It's also another benefit. So if I select this view, and if I click on this I, Ashish,
Yes.
so it opens a tab. See, it opened a tab. And then within that, there are sub tabs. And if I go to the last tab, it says DDL. I can see the view that was, I can see the query that was used to create that view. Look at this query.
Pratik, could you again please repeat this step?
So the point is, his question was, can we see the code that gets saved as part of the view in the database? So this is that view that we just created, regional AVG SAL. So if I click on I here, it opens a tab. And under that tab, if you go to DDL, you'll get it here. People who are using POP SQL also should have it drop down for views there, right next to the tables, if I remember it correctly. Is it making sense?
Yes,
Yes,
Pratik.
Also, what happens is, you see, many times the table, for example, the customer table contains so many important personal identifiable information about each customer, for example, names as well, isn't it? And age and gender and so forth. What if the regulation, some government regulation says that the entire customer information cannot be visible to everybody who's working on that customer's table? The only, maybe only the serial number and only the customer ID, the number of cards, the gender information, the annual salary. These are the things which are allowed to be shown to, let's say, larger population of people who are working. So what you can do is that you can select those fields and then create another view and then give access to that view to your team instead of giving access to the entire table. So that is why we say it becomes better for security also.
Pratik, do we have any option to password protect the way we have in macro?
I mean, you can password protect everything here. I mean, to log into the database, you have the password, Ankita.
Okay.
First thing that we do when we log in, we click on the connection file, right, Ankita?
Yep.
So everything is password protected.
Like, but I just want, like I have written some code, but I don't want it to share. I don't want to share it with anyone. So I just want to, protect that particular table. So
No. So your question, there are two things that you asked in this particular question that you said. Do you want to protect the table or do you want to protect the code which was used to create the view?
I want to, password protect a particular table which contains customer related, like personal information.
Right, that's fine. Then in that case, what you would do is that when you are, so you don't have to be worried about it. The database administrators will do it. But then the database administrators, what they will do is that they will end up creating different views and will give you access to that view only in a data mart, Ankita.
Okay.
Right now, we have a root level access. And hence, we are able to access everything in this database.
Yep.
But when you have a data mart access, then from an interface perspective, it may look exactly the same. That it would probably look like you have established a connection with a database, but that database would just be a data mart, which would be a collection of maybe specific set of views, and you won't even realize that those are views.
Okay, so you're saying that if we want to hide something in the backend, they just give access to that particular view, and then only people can refer to that.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
So, you see, what happens is that data marts are like folders in the database, data warehouses. And you can save part things into that data mart and give access to that data mart only to certain set of users.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Pratik, any changes to the original table would change the view as well?
Will change the output of the view. When you rerun the view, suppose here I've created this. So you created this view, right? Now here we are using two tables, customer region and customers table. If you happen to change the data in the customers table or the customers region table and rerun this view, then of course those changes would be reflected in the output of the view. Does it make sense?
So just by rerunning the select query, it will change the view.
No, it's not about it will change the view. First, you of course are updating the data in the customers table, right?
Yes.
If there are no updates in the customer table, then you rerun the view. It's not going to have any impact at all in the output.
No, we changed the value in the original table. We have already created a view. Now, when we rerun the select query in the view will show the reflected updated value.
Absolutely, because when you rerun this, it is like running this query.
Right.
I get your point.
Yes. So basically, while create word puts down that whole query in a single word, and when we use the word select, it reruns the same query which has been given an alias of regional average. Okay, awesome.
This is called as abstraction. You are abstracting it. You're saying that what, this entire bunch of code, entire SQL query is actually one word.
On that point, Pratik, I would like to know what's the difference between encapsulation and abstraction.
I don't want to go into the object-oriented programming class, because half of the people will get confused, and then we'll have to talk about polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction. I mean, we'll have to talk about a lot of things in that regard. Yeah. So I'm going to skip that topic. If you want, I can send you a small tutorial on it. Yeah.
Okay. And the last thing.
Do you have a Python module as part of this? No, you do not. Yeah,
we don't.
I mean, there we could have spoken about it, because otherwise there's no point, talking half the thing, and I don't want to confuse. Yeah.
We don't have any object-oriented programming as of now in this module.
And don't worry about it. Nowadays, we have moved. I mean, the coding mechanism in the world has moved towards. Have become much simpler. Gunjan, it's every day. The coding philosophy is becoming simpler and simpler and simpler for 90% of the people. 10% of the people will remain to do very complex stuff, but 90% of the people have gone into no code environment. We are creating apps without writing any line of code. So
yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead, Gunjan.
Next question was about the difference between the term you said data mart and that data warehouse.
Sorry, what was that?
Data mart and data warehouse.
If you remember, we discussed, you can refer to the first class as well. We discussed that data warehouse is a collection of databases, the metadata about the database and the summary information. And data mart is just a subset from the data warehouse.
So how is it different from a single schema or database and the data mart?
A data warehouse may have multiple databases and hence multiple schemas, Gunjan.
Right.
Right. Whereas a data mart can just be one. Can just be one table, or can be a group of 2-3 tables, or can be a group of 200 tables, depending upon how big the data mart is and how big the entire data warehouse and how big the organization's business model is. There is no set formula there, just that data warehouse is the repository of all the databases. Data marts are small collection of either tables or views from within that data warehouse. And it's very function specific. For example, as an HR person, I would require access to only employees' information and maybe some company's assets. That's about it. So I would be given access to only those columns from the employee table, or maybe just the employee table in my data mart.
Right. So basically, data mart is something which is a single subject oriented, talking about
Functional,
a single line of business. Right.
single line of business. It's very business function oriented.
Got it. Thanks, Pratik.
Okay, let's do a couple of questions on views. Do you guys have these? Yeah, I mean, we will use the same database. Let's do this question. Find the total number of, okay, we are using CTA. I'm sorry. We want to use this database, guys. Do you guys remember this database? School database?
Yes, Pratik.
Yes, music, etc.
So there are 4 tables in this database. Let's use this one. Do it using CTE as well as views. Use school database. Please work on the following queries. Find the total number of students playing either piano or guitar. And then find the overall average score of students having unique names. This is going to be interesting. Find the overall average score of students having unique names. Do it step by step, guys, okay? Find the total number of students learning piano in each, playing piano or guitar. Try to do using CT or views. So this is question number 1. This is question number 2. Let's do it, folks. Let me know if you're not able to access the database. Anybody? All right, guys, anybody? Nobody?
Pratik on it.
Find the total number of students learning playing either piano or guitar. Because we want no, Deepika, you don't have to show the full name, right?
Just the count.
Pratik, I sent it.
So this is one way of doing this query. You
And
don't,
Pratik, my answer is same.
yeah, your answer
I
is,
sent it.
but you don't have to join the two tables in this case because we want only this. The other way that you could have done this query is that that's the best way. And the second query is find the overall average score of students having unique names. So how would we find the students who have unique names? So step number one is to be able to find the students who have unique names. How will we find the students who have unique names? Anybody?
Unique
Step number
function.
one is to find the unique names, the names which are unique.
We discussed about this yesterday.
The names which are having counter is equal to 1 or less than 2.
So that means from student
I think I know the answer.
where group by full name having count star equals to 1. Right? This will give you the names that are unique. Is it making sense, everybody? And then if you are using common table expression, then you would take this query, put it under pair of parentheses here. Remove this thing as, let's say, temp table. So find the overall average score. So what should we do here, guys? We have M-test score and P-test score. So AVG of average of
M-test and P-test.
M-test comma P-test. M-test plus P-test. Okay. Yes.
डिवाइड ही करेंगे इसमें. अच्छा, एवरेज का फॉर्मूला ही लगाया आपने.
Find the overall average score of students having unique names. So here we can also do M-test plus P-test. As total score as, let's say, test score, and then here test score. Did you understand what I'm trying to say, guys? Here, what are the columns that we are selecting? Full name and M-test plus P-test as test score and count star, right? This query. Suppose if I show it, this gives me M-test plus P-test test score, isn't it? And from this table, we want to find the average of test score. Hence, we have done this average of test score from this table. And how are we getting this table? Using this query. Did you understand this, guys? Using this query, we are getting this table, and from this table, we want to get the average. Does it make sense, everybody? So this is the common table expression approach. If you have to do it using view, then what would we have done differently here, guys? What do you think we would have done differently here? What is it that we would have done differently here?
We have eliminated the selected average total score and typed create view.
So instead of this here, what we would have done is we would have written create view and let's say unique names as right, and you can refresh it and you can check that under the views That's still fetching. Oh, yes. There is a unique name. And then if you want to find the average, then you would have done average of the score from what?
Unique name.
Unique name.
Names.
Unique name.
So which one do you think is a simpler approach? The views one or the common table expression one?
View one.
View one.
Depend upon the requirement.
Actually, it depends. You know, if you think that you will be using this view multiple times, that means if you think you will be using this query that you've written multiple times, then rather create it as a view and save it in the database. But if it is like a one-off thing, one-off calculation that you're doing, then you can use it, continue to use it as a common table expression. Does it make sense?
Yes, Pratik.
Yeah. So there is one more question that I'm going to give to you guys to do at home. Yeah, so these are the 3 questions which are there, but you know, you can decide to do only one, that's fine. But these are the 3 questions that I would ask you to do. I will upload it in the assignment as well. Find the total number of girls using views. Using views, find the total number of students with unique name. This we have already done. Oh no, we have not done this, right? So this is what we will do using the school_db database and do the following queries. Got it? So that's what I would want you guys to do for tomorrow's class. Very, very simple thing, guys.
Okay, Pratik.
Okay, Pratik.
Tomorrow's class is going to be an important class, guys. The reason why tomorrow's class is going to be important class is that I'm going to try and cover how we can run SQL query from within Excel. Okay, everybody has Excel here, right?
Yes, Pratik.
Yes, Pratik.
Everybody has, right?
Yes, Pratik.
Yes.
So we'll also actually see that how we can go to data here and how we can actually connect to a MySQL database if at all you're running locally. If not locally, if you're running it somewhere else, how we can connect with it, and then how we can run a SQL query, or how we can actually send a SQL query from within Excel to a database to fetch the data into Excel. So we'll try and see that as well tomorrow. Yeah, everybody. Great then. Good. So we have you know, a small quiz planned out for the people who missed the quiz on Monday, I think. So
Yes.
who all? So I mean, if you have missed the quiz, please go ahead and participate. Chanchal is going to give you the quiz link right away. And if you have attended the quiz, then you know you can drop off. No problem. I will upload the questions on the SMS.
I think I have missed. I want to apply.
Sure. So we will do it right away.
Okay. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I'm just going to share it with you. And
Okay.
yeah, and once you're done, you can just I mean, it's online. Chanchal, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you want to and folks who have appeared for the quiz, you can drop off, guys.
Okay, Pratik. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pratik.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pratik. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
I'm sharing the link, sir.
Yes. And you guys, you'll have to use the CC_profile_DB database, okay? The credit card profile database.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Chanchal, do they have to be logged in while giving the quiz here?
It's not necessary, sir. Once they've submitted the quiz, I'll get the Excel sheet.
Sure.
automatically.
Okay.
But the quiz will continue for like 1 hour, and after 1 hour, it will expire.
All right. It's just a 1 hour quiz, guys. I mean, that's the maximum time.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you can log off and give as well. That's not a problem. We don't want to keep Vinay's link busier than what we had promised him.
So I have clicked the link and I'm logging off.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratik. Thank you for the class. Bye.
Bye-bye.